So, you've got a dog here in Salem, New Hampshire, and you want to enjoy all the great stuff our town has to offer with your four-legged friend. Well, that's exactly what this is all about. We're going to walk through how to find the perfect professional trainer to make sure every single outing is a great one for both of you.
You know that picture in your head, right? That perfect, peaceful walk. Your dog trotting happily right by your side, no pulling, no lunging, just calm. Well, getting to that point, whether you're on a beautiful trail or just walking around your neighborhood, it all starts with a solid training foundation.
Okay, here's our game plan. We'll start with why training is so key for life, right here in Salem. Then, we'll dive into different training styles. From there, we'll cover how to actually pick a pro, the money side of things, and wrap it all up with some awesome local spots where you can practice everything you've learned.
All right, let's jump right in. First up, training your Salem dog. And really, this is all about getting your pup ready for the kinds of situations and environments we have right here in our town. I mean, just think about a typical week around here. One minute, you're navigating the busy sidewalks and traffic along Route 28, and the next, you might be at Veterans Memorial Park, which is buzzing with kids, bikes, and other families. Good training is what gives your dog the confidence to handle all these real-world scenarios calmly.
So before you even start searching for a trainer, it's super helpful to know what's out there. What are the different methods, the different types of programs? Understanding this stuff is what's going to empower you to make a really great choice. Hands down, the method you're going to hear about most is positive reinforcement. And for good reason. The whole idea is simple. Instead of correcting your dog for doing something wrong, you reward them with treats, praise, a favorite toy for doing something right. It's proven to be more effective long-term, and it turns learning into a fun game you're playing together, which builds an amazing bond. Now, which format is right for you? It really depends on your dog. Got a pup who's friendly but just gets so distracted by other dogs? Group classes are fantastic for that. They'll learn how to focus. But if you're dealing with a specific issue at home, like barking every time the doorbell rings, that's where private one-on-one lessons can give you that really targeted help. And hey, if you've recently brought a new dog home, congratulations. This is a wonderful little guideline to keep in mind. The 3-3-3 rule just reminds us to have realistic expectations. They need about 3 days to decompress, 3 weeks to learn your routine, and a full 3 months to really feel at home. It's all about starting your journey together with patience.
Okay, you've got the fundamentals. Now for the really important part. How do you actually pick the right trainer? Let's get into the nitty-gritty of how to evaluate a pro and find that perfect fit for you and your dog.
Now here's something you need to know. The dog training industry in New Hampshire is not regulated. That means anyone can call themselves a trainer. That's precisely why certifications are so valuable. They're proof that a person has invested in their education, passed rigorous exams, and is committed to professional standards.
You're going to see a bunch of letters after trainers' names, and it can look like alphabet soup. So for general manners and obedience, credentials like CPD-TK or KPA-CTP are fantastic. But if you're dealing with more complex behavioral issues like deep-seated fear or reactivity, you'll want to look for a specialist with an advanced certification like CBCCK or CTC.
All right, so you've found a few trainers you're interested in. Now what? Well, you've got to interview them. Let's go over the exact questions you need to ask to feel totally confident in your decision.
Okay, here's your essential checklist. First, what training methods do you use? You want to make sure you're on the same page. Then, what are your credentials to confirm their expertise? A huge one is, how will you customize the plan for my dog? You don't want a cookie-cutter approach. And of course, get clear on all the costs and their cancellation policy. Finally, it's always good to ask if they're willing to coordinate with your vet if needed.
All right, let's talk logistics. 2 really practical things every dog owner in Salem needs to have on their radar are the costs involved and the local town rules.
So, let's start with the budget. Just to give you a ballpark figure, a single one-on-one private training session around here is probably going to be in the range of $120 to $200. Of course, that can vary a bit based on the trainer's experience.
And here's a broader look at the typical costs. As you can see, group puppy classes are a pretty cost-effective option for getting started. On the other end, something like a board and train program is a much bigger investment. This should help you figure out what kind of service fits best with your budget. Next up, local rules. Being a responsible dog owner in Salem also means being a great neighbor, and that means knowing the basics. The main things are, your dog needs to be on a leash in public, you have to get them licensed with the town every year, and their rabies vaccination has to be current. And of course, be mindful of any excessive barking. Okay, this is the fun part. Let's talk about training around town.
because all that work you do in your living room is really about being able to apply those skills out in the real world.
And we are lucky Salem has some fantastic places to put your training to the test. The Salem Dog Park at Woodchuck Hill is perfect for safely practicing off-leash skills like recall. The Rockingham Rec Trail is amazing for working on that polite leash walking. And a place like Veterans Memorial Park is great for helping your dog get used to a little more activity and bustle.
Here's a piece of advice that will make all the difference. Set your dog up for success. You want to build a super strong foundation at home where it's quiet. Once they've got it down, then you can slowly add more distractions by moving to a quiet park before eventually tackling busier spots. This gradual approach builds their confidence.
And at the end of the day, this is what it's all for, isn't it? So you can have those peaceful walks at Woodchuck Hill, and so you don't have to stress out when friends or family come to visit. It's all about creating a happier, easier life with your dog right here in Salem. Enjoy the process and the amazing bond you're building.